First way we can latch onto perfection is that we must be mindful of the Spirit. And how are we mindful of the Spirit? By mind renewal. Proverbs chapter 4 verse 23. He said, guard your heart with all diligence. He said, because in it proceeds the issues of life. The whole of the issues of life, if I want to trace where all your problems are coming from, it's first started from your heart. Apostle Paul now told us that it is what you gave your mind to that brought about that problem. If you give your mind to the flesh, problem will come, and it's called death. Death is anything that makes for your destruction. There are three types of death. There is the spiritual death, conditional death, and the physical death. Spiritual death first happened before conditional death, then the physical death. Spiritual death is disconnection from God's spirit. If you are mindful of the flesh, you will die, and that death means separation from God. When you separate from God, you will now enter into what I call conditional death. Conditional death is when problems, affliction begin to come as a result of that disconnectivity. That's what the Bible says, when the hedge is broken, the serpent will come. And when the serpent comes, what it does is to give you a venom, and that venom is capable of causing destruction to you. So the person begin to suffer affliction as a result of that disconnectivity. When you unplug a tree from the ground, the tree does not die automatically. It will begin to shrink. First of all, it will turn to firewood as time goes on. A man disconnect from God, sometimes it doesn't look like you are disconnected from God. If I disconnect this fan from the source, it doesn't stop immediately. It will be rotating, but with time goes on, the condition of the rotation begin to depreciate. It begin to fade away. Before you know it, it will not stop automatically. That condition that is making not rotate as fast as it used to be is called conditional death. That conditional death or the affliction will now lead to a permanent death, which is now cessation of life. So some people already died before they died because they did not understand the technology of giving their mind to the things of the spirit. We have many corpses walking on earth because they don't understand the technology of mastering the mind, giving their mind to the spirits, and some give their mind to the flesh. When you are addicted to a particular thing, mind you, there are good addictions. Good addiction is when you are addicted to the things of the spirit. There are some people, if they don't pray on a day, they don't feel comfortable. Being addicted to prayer is a good addiction. There are some people, they cannot do without fasting. Me, I can't do without fasting. Don't eat in the morning. Any day I eat in the morning, to look like I've committed the worst sin is a good addiction. David made an utterance and say, I am always glad when I hear let's go. He has been addicted to the presence of God. That addiction that you have for the flesh can destroy you. People die when they begin to yield totally to the dictate of their flesh. When your flesh is strongly fed more than the spirit, there is nothing more the spirit can do. It can only make suggestion to you, but the flesh will not allow you to take on that suggestions. The reason is because this flesh has been more empowered than your spirit. So you now see somebody, you will keep making plan on how to follow God, how to be serious with God. At the end of the day, the person keep falling back. The reason is because there is something the other person is doing that I do not understand, that is feeding the flesh. We feed the flesh through the loss of our eyes, through what we hear, and through what we touch. Being mindful means feeding. When you feed your flesh become powerful than your spirit. Perfection can only come when you begin to feed that spirit of perfection in you. We call it the workings of your salvation, bringing out that your perfection that you receive from the standpoint of your salvation with the Lord. And one of the ways to feed your spirit is to be mindful of the things of the spirit. Apostle Paul told us in Romans chapter 12 verse 2, he said, be you transformed by the renewing of your mind. And how do we become mindful of the things of the spirit? By studying the word of God, listening to hymns and spiritual songs, constantly praying. Jesus said in Luke chapter 18 verse 1, he spake this parable to the utmost end, that men ought to always pray and not to faint. Constantly coming in the gathering of your brethren by having a prayer partner.